In The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's larger legendarium, elves are divided into several groups based on their journeys during the First Age and their relationships with the Valar, the powerful beings that govern the world. These distinctions shape their cultures, languages, and roles in the story. The elves are broadly divided into two major categories: Calaquendi, elves of the light, and Morikendi, elves of the dark. Here's a breakdown of the main groups of elves. Calaquendi, elves of the light. These are the elves who traveled to Valinor, the land of the Valar, and saw the two trees of Valinor, thus experiencing the light of the blessed realm. They are considered the most noble and powerful of the elves. The Vanyar are the first group of elves to travel to Valinor. They have golden hair and are closely connected to the Valar, particularly Manwë and Varda. They rarely leave Valinor and are almost never seen in Middle-earth. The Vanyar play a minimal role in The Lord of the Rings, but are highly significant in Tolkien's earlier works, like the Silmarillion. Noldor description. The Noldor are the most important group in many of Tolkien's stories, known for their knowledge, craftsmanship, and ambition. They are the makers of many of the great artifacts of Middle-earth, including the Silmarils and the Rings of Power. They left Valinor after the theft of the Silmarils and played a central role in the events of the First Age. Fëanor, Galadriel, and Elrond are some of the most famous Noldoran elves. Galadriel and Elrond, both central characters in The Lord of the Rings, are part of the Noldor. The Noldor are also responsible for many of the legendary weapons and artifacts encountered in the story. The Teleri are the largest group of elves, and they are lovers of the sea. Some Teleri reached Valinor, where they became the Sea Elves, Falmari, but others remained in Middle-earth, such as the Sindar and the Sylvan Elves. Círdan the Shipwright, a Teleran elf, plays a role in The Lord of the Rings, overseeing the Grey Havens. The Teleri who stayed in Valinor play little role in The Lord of the Rings, but their kin in Middle-earth are prominent. Morikendi, elves of the dark. These are elves who did not make the journey to Valinor, and thus did not see the light of the two trees. They are generally considered less noble or powerful than the Calaquendi, but are still important in the story. Sindar Grey Elves. The Sindar are a subgroup of the Teleri who remained in Middle-earth, led by King Thingol. They became a powerful people, especially in Doriath during the First Age, and are sometimes called the Grey Elves. Their language, Sindarin, became the common Elvish tongue in Middle-earth. Legolas, the Prince of Mirkwood, and Thingol are notable Sindarin elves. Sindarin culture and language are dominant in Middle-earth during the events of The Lord of the Rings. Legolas is the most prominent Sindar in the story. Sylvan Elves, Wood Elves. The Sylvan Elves are primarily Morikendi who settled in the forests of Middle-earth, such as Lothlorien and Mirkwood. They are simpler, more rustic than the High Elves, and live closer to nature. They are sometimes ruled by Sindarin or Noldoran lords. Thranduil, the Elven King of Mirkwood, and his son Legolas. In Lothlorien, Galadriel rules over the Sylvan Elves. The Sylvan Elves of Lothlorien and Mirkwood play important roles in The Lord of the Rings. Lothlorien serves as a sanctuary for the Fellowship, while Legolas, a prince of the Sylvan Elves, is one of the Fellowship members. The Avari are the elves who refused the summons of the Valar and never left Middle-earth. They are the least known of the elves, living in obscurity and scattered far from the great realms of Elvendom. The Avari are largely absent from The Lord of the Rings and play little role in Tolkien's more well-known narratives, existing on the fringes of the Elvish world. Elvish languages and divisions. Quenya, spoken by the High Elves, particularly the Noldor and Vanyar. This is the language of lore and ceremony. Sindarin, the common Elvish language in Middle-earth spoken by the Sindar and many Noldor. The Sylvan Elves have their own dialects, though many also speak Sindarin, especially if they are ruled by Sindarin or Noldoran lords. Summary of the main types. Calaquendi, High Elves who went to Valinor. Morikendi, Dark Elves who never saw the light of the two trees. Each type of elf contributes to the rich history and culture of Middle-earth, with the Noldor and Sindar being the most prominent in The Lord of the Rings itself.